Welcome to the Deep Dive. Have you ever walked down your street, looked at the coffee shop on the corner, noticed the specific types of cars parked along the curb, or maybe saw a new boutique organic grocery store opening up and just wondered, how exactly did they know to build that right here?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Right. Have you ever thought about how real estate developers, marketers, and these, massive corporate franchises actually view your neighborhood? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on that entire process.
We really are.
We've got a stack of incredibly detailed insights focused on one specific modern zip code. We're looking at Portland, Oregon, 97213.
It is a genuinely eye-opening stack of information, too. We're drawing from the Portland 97213 Community Profile and Market Strategic Summary, and we're using that alongside a highly detailed trade area report. This was provided by Justin Dupre. He's a licensed broker from Century 21 North Homes Realty. And what it shows is, well, it's nothing short of a microscopic look at human behavior.
And our mission today is to decode the demographic and psychographic DNA of this specific community. By the time we wrap up, you are going to have a massive aha moment about the invisible matrix that shapes local businesses, housing markets, and even urban planning.
Absolutely.
Before we get into the numbers, I have to ask, how do they actually know all this? Like, how does a real estate report know what kind of groceries a neighborhood buys?
That is the million-dollar question right there. What we are looking at isn't just a spreadsheet of dry census data where someone, knocked on a door and asked your age.
Right.
It is a synthesis of consumer footprints. Think of it like your digital and financial shadow. It aggregates credit card purchase histories, loyalty program data, magazine subscriptions, digital browsing habits.
Property records.
Exactly, property records too. When you combine all those overlapping layers, you get these eerily accurate avatars of a neighborhood. It shows us not just where people live, but what they value, what they buy, and really why they live the way they do.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because looking at the macro view of Portland 97213, there is a really surprising twist right off the bat.
Yeah, the population shift.
Yes. The baseline population of this zip code is 31,273 residents. But when you look at the daytime population, it actually swells to 33,176.
Which is huge.
It is. That means there's a net influx of over 12,000 people flooding into this area during normal business hours. What is causing that massive wave of humanity?
Well, it fundamentally alters the local economy, for starters. When you have a net influx of over 12,000 daytime professionals, you aren't just a bedroom community anymore.
You're an economic hub.
Exactly. Let's play this out with a hypothetical scenario. Imagine you are opening a high-end coffee shop in this zip code.
Oh, I definitely want to open a coffee shop in Portland.
Naturally. But here is the trick. You cannot just cater to the guy who lives in the apartment upstairs. To survive, you have to capture the dollars of this massive transient daytime workforce.
Right.
Your rush hour isn't just 7 a.m. It's the 10:00 a.m. meeting crowd and the 2 p.m. midday slump crowd. If you are opening a lunch spot or a service business, that daily influx is your primary target audience.
And the numbers suggest that target audience has some serious cash to spend, too.
Oh, definitely.
Looking at the economic muscle of this zip code, the median household income sits at a very comfortable $100,387. But then I noticed the average household income is significantly higher, up at $141,954, with a per capita income over $63,000.
Yeah, that's quite a jump.
Whenever I see a gap that big between the median and the average, it usually means there is a concentration of serious wealth pulling that average up.
Right. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to look at the economic engines generating that wealth. The unemployment rate in this area is an incredibly low 3.1%.
Wow.
Yeah. Contrast that with a national average of 4.2% at the time of this report, and you see a highly insulated local economy. And the primary driver of the stability is education. Over 63% of the residents here hold higher education degrees. We are talking about 37.5% with a bachelor's degree and 26.3% holding a graduate or professional degree.
So we are dealing with a hyper-educated, high disposable income community.
Precisely. And that type of demographic doesn't just want basic goods and services. They demand cultural enrichment. They want experiences. Which brings us to how marketers actually categorize these people to sell them those experiences.
Right. And this is where the insights go from a basic math equation to a full-blown psychological profile. The reports use a system called tapestry segments.
Yes.
Now, for the listener who hasn't heard of this, what exactly is a tapestry segment? Is it just a fancy marketing buzzword?
It sounds like one, but it's actually a vital tool. Tapestry segmentation classifies U.S. residential neighborhoods into unique consumer markets based on socioeconomic and demographic characteristics.
Okay, so it groups them.
Yeah, think of it like a personality test, but instead of telling you if you are an introvert or an extrovert, it tells businesses if you are likely to buy a luxury SUV or an electric scooter. It groups people into lifestyle buckets.
And in 97213, a massive 53.9% of the households, that is more than half the zip code, belong to a dominant tapestry segment called Emerald City.
The Emerald City segment is the center of gravity for this entire area.
Yeah.
They dictate the local culture entirely.
Oh, so who are they?
This group lives primarily in lower density, older, established neighborhoods. A lot of these homes were built before 1960, and their home ownership rate is hovering right around 51.2%, meaning it is almost a dead-even split between owners and renters.
The profile of these Emerald City residents is so hyper-specific, it almost reads like a character description in a movie script.
It really does.
Their median age is 37.7. The sources explicitly note that they are a liberal segment, which is just another data point businesses use, by the way.
Right, just impartially reporting the data here.
Exactly. They are highly connected online, and they contribute financially to NPR and PBS. They are serious foodies who enjoy cooking adventurous meals, and they source their ingredients locally and organically, primarily shopping at Trader Joe's and Whole Foods.
Don't forget the art and music.
Oh yeah, they love art, music, and traveling.
They are the archetype of the modern conscious consumer. They prioritize lifelong learning. The insights show they read magazines and books on tablets, often while exercising at home.
Which is very specific.
Very. And when it comes to their wallets, they do not spend blindly. They research products very carefully before buying, prioritizing natural, green, and environmentally friendly goods.
Okay, but I have to play devil's advocate here for a second because there was one detail in the source that made me laugh out loud.
The cleaning service.
Yes. The report literally states that these residents budget their time by hiring home cleaning services specifically so they have more time for yoga. Come on, paying someone to scrub your tub so you can do downward dog.
I know.
Is this an actual statistical reality, or did someone just watch an episode of Courtlandia and write it down?
It does sound like a caricature, doesn't it? But you have to remember how this profile is built. Marketers see the overlapping Venn diagram of credit card charges for local-made services, combined with recurring monthly subscriptions to high-end yoga studios and wellness apps.
Wow.
And it's concentrated heavily in this specific age and income bracket. It paints a vivid picture. It tells a business owner that this demographic values time and wellness over saving a few bucks on household chores.
That is wild. It really is a goldmine for anyone trying to open a business. If you are targeting that zip code, you essentially have the cheat code to their brain.
You really do. Your entire business strategy has to be tailored to that Emerald City persona. You have to focus on continuous personal development, green living, and sustainability.
Can't just be generic.
Exactly. And because they are constantly online using the web for professional networking, reading blogs, checking the news, you cannot just put up a billboard. You need a digitally savvy, multi-channel content approach.
You have to meet them on their phones.
You have to meet them where they live, which is on their screens, researching their next organic purchase.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Emerald City might be the king of the castle, making up over half the neighborhood. But they aren't the wealthiest.
No, they aren't.
The second largest segment, making up 16.2% of households, is a group called urban chic. These are the older, wealthier married professionals. We are looking at a median age of 43. Their median household income jumps up to over $150,000, and their median net worth is nearly $700,000.
Urban chic is your classic, established professional demographic. Think of the director at a tech firm or a partner at a law firm. Over 60% of them live in single-family homes, and the property values here are substantial.
Like how substantial?
Averaging around $900 and $1,200. More than 65% of them hold a bachelor's degree or higher. And an interesting financial quirk about this group, nearly 40% of these households receive income from investments.
So they aren't just earning salaries.
Exactly. Their money is making money.
And when you look at their consumer profile, you can see exactly where that money goes. They drive luxury imports. They are a top market for Apple computers. They drink imported wine. They eat organic foods. And they are absolute snobs about getting a good cup of coffee.
It fits the profile perfectly.
But much like the Emerald City crowd, they are highly environmentally aware. They actively recycle, they maintain a green lifestyle, and they spend their downtime skiing, hiking, and playing tennis.
Now hold that image of the wealthy, wine-drinking hiker in your mind, and let's contrast it with the third largest segment, which is the city lights demographic.
Okay.
They make up 8% of the households, and they are a completely different vibe. They live in much more densely populated areas, townhomes, mid to high-rise apartments. They are racially and ethnically diverse, and like Emerald City, they are evenly split between owners and renters.
The financial contrast is really sharp with the City Lights group. They earn above-average incomes around $97,500, but their net worth is significantly lower, sitting at about $226,900.
And you can see that reflected in how they shop.
Yeah, they are highly price-conscious. The consumer footprint shows them hunting for deals at warehouse clubs, Marshalls, Target, and Bed Bath & Beyond.
But at the same time, they are fanatical about their health.
Right.
They buy vitamins, actively seek out low-sodium foods, and spends 7 or more hours a week exercising.
What's fascinating here is how these two distinct groups, the wealthy urban chic and the price-conscious city lights, manage to coexist so smoothly.
Yes, what's fascinating here is exactly that dynamic. Despite the massive wealth gap, they share fundamental core values. The Trade Area Report explicitly notes that the City Lights Group has a strong passion for social welfare and equal opportunity.
So when you zoom out, you have entirely different income brackets, sharing an active commitment to environmentalism, healthy living, and community welfare.
It proves that a neighborhood's identity is often forged by shared psychographic values, even when the financial metrics are miles apart.
That is such a brilliant takeaway for you, the listener, especially if you are trying to understand the fabric of a city. It is not just about sorting people by tax brackets. It's about what they care about at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And that brings us to the smaller microcultures in 97213. Let's look at a group called In Style, which makes up 6.4% of households. Who are these folks?
The in-style segment is a slightly older, very urbane demographic. Their median age is 41.7. They are affluent, with median incomes around $97,100. But their defining characteristic is their meticulous nature. They are the planners of the neighborhood. They often work with financial professionals to manage diverse portfolios and retirement savings. They aren't just winging it.
Right. And the data shows they are nesters. They own homes with a median value of about $390,100, but they don't just live in them, they curate them.
Curate is the perfect word.
They invest heavily in home remodeling, whether that means doing it themselves as a DIY project or hiring contractors. They're the ones driving the late model SUVs to the hardware store on a Saturday. But they also clip mobile coupons, they grow their own vegetables in the backyard, and they actively support the arts, theater, concerts, museums.
Exactly. They are grounded and methodical. Now, sitting right next to them in the neighborhood, making up 6.3% of the households, is the absolute polar opposite of the methodical planner.
There we go.
Enter the trendsetters. This is a demographic of young singles, median age 36.1, and their unofficial motto is basically, you're only young once.
I love the trendsetters. They are highly educated, but they have zero interest in homeownership. More than 75% of them rent in upscale, multi-unit structures.
And cars.
Forget about it. If they own a vehicle, it's a subcompact. But many don't even bother, relying instead on public transit, walking, or biking.
They are totally mobile.
They text constantly, they live on social media to chronicle their spontaneous vacations, and they are unapologetic spenders. They drop money on current fashions, the latest smartphones, the newest tablets. They are living for today.
But let's bring this back to our hypothetical business scenarios. Because there is a brilliant nuance in how these microcultures operate in the real world. Let's imagine you aren't opening a coffee shop anymore.
Okay.
Let's say you are managing a local grocery store in 97213.
Okay, I'm the manager. I know my biggest demographic is Emerald City, so I'm stocking the shelves with organic kale, raw ingredients, and local produce so they can cook their adventurous meals from scratch.
That is a great start. But what about the trendsetters?
Right.
They also prefer organic products. They also shop at places like Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. But if you look at their consumer footprint, their shopping carts look completely different than the Emerald City folks.
Right. The insights show the trendsetters are filling their carts almost entirely with prepared or ready-to-heat meals.
Precisely. They are way too busy exploring the city, going to concerts, dining out, and living that YOLO lifestyle to spend an hour cooking a meal from scratch.
They just don't have the time.
No. So as that grocery store manager, you cannot just rely on the raw produce aisle. You need a massive, high-quality, ready-to-eat section specifically positioned and marketed to the trendsetters.
That makes total sense.
If you miss that, you are leaving a huge chunk of money on the table. That level of behavioral granularity is how this data directly influences what sits on a store shelf.
It is wild to think about how predictable we all are when you aggregate the numbers. But speaking of the trendsetters always being on the go, let's pivot and look at how this entire neighborhood actually moves.
The commute data.
Yes. I want to talk about traffic, transit, and the daily commute because I was genuinely blown away by the employment data here. According to the report, a staggering 36.89% of the people in this zip code work from home.
It is a massive percentage, but it perfectly explains the mystery we talked about at the very beginning of this deep dive.
The daytime influx.
Exactly. Remember that huge daytime population influx of over 12,000 people? A massive chunk of that is because over a third of the resident workforce isn't commuting out of the neighborhood to an office. They're staying put.
They're working from their living rooms.
They are taking their laptops to the coffee shop, grabbing a midday organic salad, and keeping their dollars circulating locally during business hours.
But I'm looking at the rest of the commuting data, and I'm honestly a bit confused. For a community that is defined across almost every single tapestry segment as green, environmentally conscious, and deeply invested in reducing their carbon footprint.
I know where you're going with this.
68.5% of the commuters still drive to work alone. Only 12.77% take public transit, and about 8.8% carpool. And to put the sheer volume of that traffic into perspective, the report logs the historical traffic counts for the local Banfield Freeway and I-84.
The numbers are intense.
The I-84 freeway handles a historical peak of 169,169 cars daily. If they love the environment so much, why is the freeway a parking lot?
It is a striking contradiction, isn't it? But it's a very human one. It highlights the tension between ideal lifestyle values and the practical realities of urban infrastructure.
How so?
Well, a community can be fiercely dedicated to environmentalism, buying green products, advocating for nature, recycling obsessively while simultaneously contributing heavily to local traffic. Why? Because of where their white-collar and technical jobs are located.
Ah, right, the commute.
The average commute time data shows a widespread, with a significant chunk traveling 15 to 25 minutes and some commuting up to an hour. It proves that you can have all the green values in the world, but if the light rail doesn't go to your tech campus, you are still getting in your car.
So what does this all mean? If you are listening to this right now, maybe sitting in traffic yourself or walking the dog through your own neighborhood, why should you care about the hyper-granular demographic breakdown of Portland 97213?
You should care, because this report is the exact blueprint for how the modern world is constructed around you.
Yeah.
Whether you are prepping for a marketing meeting, looking to invest in real estate, opening a local business, or just fiercely curious about why your city looks the way it does, this deep dive proves one major point. Understanding a neighborhood requires looking way beyond broad age brackets or simple median income numbers. It requires understanding lifestyle.
Right. If you want to reach the people in an area like this, the insights make it crystal clear. You have to speak their language.
Yeah.
You need a digital-first strategy. You need to highlight community events, support environmental causes, and celebrate cultural engagement.
You have to know who is walking through your door.
You have to know whether your customer is the in-style planner meticulously renovating their historic home, or the young trendsetter grabbing a pre-packaged organic meal before heading to a pop-up art show.
Exactly. The narrative of 97213 is a community that values continuous learning, health, and social equity. And that holds true regardless of whether they are an affluent, urban chic homeowner driving a luxury import or a City Lights renter hunting for deals at Target while saving up for their first down payment.
The shared psychographics are the glue that holds the zip code together.
They absolutely are.
It really changes how you look at the world around you. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating, data-driven world of neighborhood demographics. Next time you see a new business open up on your corner, you'll know exactly how much invisible information quietly shapes that decision.
This raises an important question, though, something for you to chew on the next time you're walking down your own street. We've just spent this entire time unpacking how incredibly granular data neatly boxes residents into groups like Emerald City or trendsetters based on what they buy, what they read, and how they live.
Yeah.
But as real estate developers, marketers, and massive algorithms increasingly use this exact data to decide which businesses are allowed to open, what types of homes are built, and what advertisements you are served, are we actually choosing our lifestyles? Or are these hyper-specific data profiles secretly designing our neighborhoods and our futures for us?